What's up guys, it's FC, and today I'm bringing you guys some Homefront kill streaks. These are not all the kill streaks in the game, just the ones I have unlocked up to level 31, I believe that I'm at. So the first ones we're going to be looking at are the drones. Now the drones are handheld robotic machines that you control basically from a distance. The first one we have is the Wolverine. Now the Wolverine kind of looks like Wally with a machine gun on top of its head. You use the right trigger to shoot and the left and right analog sticks to move around. It's really good against infantry units, not so good against anything else, and it costs you about 500 battle points. Next we have the Rhino. Now the Rhino is almost exactly like the Wolverine, except it has a missile system instead of a machine gun. With the missile system, you can use it to lock on to enemy air support and try to take it out. It takes about 4 missiles to take out any type of enemy air support, but it's really effective. The only bad thing is that the health is not too great. Again, you're going to see me right here call it out. You use the right trigger to plant it and, you know, wait for it to lock on. You're going to see the yellow box turn red when it's locked on, and you fire your missiles. Next up, we're going to be looking at the Buzzard. Now, the Buzzard is a handheld helicopter. You use the right bumper and left bumper to control the altitude going up and down, and again the right trigger to fire off your missiles. It's really good against infantry. It's not so good against vehicles. It takes about 3 missiles to kill an infantry member, as you can see here. But it's a pesky little thing. Once it's up in the air, it catches the attention of a lot of people. Again, the health on these drones is not too great, so it does get knocked out pretty quick. This does cost you 800 battle points, which is not too bad. Next, we have my favorite drone, which is the Parrot. Now, the Parrot is kind of like your eye in the sky UAV. Once you call it out, you start marking your enemies. As you can see, I'm going to be looking around right now, trying to find any type of enemy forces. And once I do find them, you use the right trigger to start marking off any type of enemy, and they start showing up on the enemy on the battlefield for your teammates to see. So it's kind of like having a wall hack, because once you mark them, even if you're behind a building, it'll still tell me where you're at and let my teammates know where you're at. So as you can see, I'm gonna start marking off my enemies here, and every time I do mark off an enemy, it gives me 30 battle points. So this does cost me 250 battle points to call in, but you could pretty much make that up in just marking your enemies, marking them on the field, and it's pretty easy to make that 250 back. And not only are you marking them for yourself, you're going to be marking them for your teammates, so your teammates know where everybody's at on the field. So if one of your members on your team can run this kill streak, it's pretty effective, and you have a better chance of winning your matches. Next up are the airstrikes. These are the 2 airstrikes I have unlocked so far. The first one is the white phosphorus. This is my favorite kill streak so far in the game. So what you do is you mark an area, and then a missile's going to go and drop white phosphorus in that selected area. If anybody of the enemy team is in that area, they're pretty much dead. And I was able to get a quad. It costs you 1,300 battle points, but it's very effective if you can get a good cluster of people in that circle. Next up is the Hellfire. The Hellfire also costs 1,300 battle points, and it's kind of like a guided missile system. You mark your shot, and the missiles will take off. So you have to kind of guide the missile into your spot where you want to take it out. Buildings do get in the way, guys, so take into effect that there is building. The buildings will block any type of Hellfire shots or anything like that. But if you can pinpoint the spot where you want to drop it, it's very effective. It's good against any type of armor units, as you can see in this clip right here. I'm going to take out a tank and get some good kills with it. The final thing we're going to be looking at today is the vehicles. Now, the vehicles you can purchase with your battle points and spawn right into them. The first thing we're going to be looking at is the Piranha. The Piranha costs you 1,400 battle points. It is a light armored tank, meaning that the armor is not as thick as the big boy tank that we're going to be looking at a little bit later, but it's pretty effective against infantry units and light vehicles like the Humvee and stuff like that. You have one primary, one secondary weapon. You control the primary as the driver, and if you have a teammate spawn into the secondary unit, they'll go ahead and control that secondary weapon. As you can see, I'm controlling the main cannon, and I just killed somebody, while my teammate is controlling that small little cannon that's right above me, moving around and stuff. The only thing with the vehicles like this is driving is a little bit it takes some getting used to, put it that way, because the vehicle is so large and movement is kind of it's kind of cluttered everywhere, so it takes a little getting used to moving around with it. But once you do, it's pretty effective. The only thing that it's acceptable is the EMP grenade, as you're gonna see right here. I get EMP'd, I cannot move at this moment, and I'm able to get killed. Next up, we're gonna be looking at the big boy, the battle tank, or the Abrams, depending on what side you are on. It's the different name. This is probably the most bang for your buck vehicle. Costs you 2,000 battle points, but it is super effective. It might be slow, but it's very powerful, and the armor on it is ridiculously strong. I used it to take care of points like this. I just parked it right next to the Charlie point here, and I was able to secure it on my own without any help. Why? Because the tank is right there, and most infantry units are probably not going to go heads up against the tank because they're going to lose. As you can see here, 1 kill, triple, just by using the tank. So it's very powerful. It's definitely going to need a team effort to take down one of these tanks because the armor, like I said before, is so strong. I actually had to cut this clip for about 2.5 minutes because I was still in the tank without any damage. As you can see, my health is at my bottom right. I'm barely in the yellow, and this has been after about 2 minutes of me fighting. The other team was not trying to take me out in any type of form, and I made them pay for that by using the big boy. Again, it has a secondary weapon that my teammates can spawn into, which is a machine gun, and I have control of the big cannon that's on top. So as you can see, you can just blast people right out of everywhere. As you can see, this guy was trying to shoot at me, and it took him more than 2 shots already, and he still hasn't taken me out, and I'm able to come back and just fire one of my cannon shots and take him out. So probably the best bang for your buck, guys. This is probably my favorite vehicle out of all of them. It might be slow, but man, is it powerful. Next up is the Scout. It's one of the helicopters that you can choose, and this one also costs you 2,000 battle points. It's got a machine gun mounted weapon. That's it. You fly it like the little buzzard. You go right bumper to go up, left bumper to go down. The one thing that kind of balances out the air superiority vehicles like the helicopters is that they don't have red indicators over enemies, so you have to find your enemies and try to figure out where they're at. And it's kind of hard when you're up in the air. You have to kind of go lower into the ground, and when you're lower, you're more susceptible to getting shot down. But once you get a good cluster of enemies, it's pretty easy to take them down. Now, the machine gun on it is very strong, so it doesn't take long to kill people. But when you're up in the air, you basically become a target, and everybody tries looking at you. Air vehicles always get shot down quicker than the land vehicles to me. So if it was for me, this thing costs the same amount as the battle tank, and I would choose the battle tank over this because it's just so much stronger, much more health, and that thing's harder to kill. The final vehicle we're going to be looking at is the Chimera or Apache helicopter, depending on what team you are on. Now, the Chimera and Apache helicopters cost you 2,800 battle points, making it the most expensive vehicle in the game to purchase. It is really good, though, at killing tanks, killing infantry, and basically killing anything in the game. Also, you can use it for air-to-air combat to take out any type of air support your enemies might have. At this point, the enemies had another attack helicopter up, and I decided to engage it in some air-to-air combat. Fortunately for me, I was able to kill it, but that guy tried to, either he doesn't know how to fly and he tried to bump me, but I was able to kill it. It does have the lock-on functionality like the little robot that I showed you earlier, so you just have to wait for the little box to turn red and you're able to shoot out your missiles. Now, it also has really good defenses. It has the ability to drop flares anytime it has a missile coming at it. You just have to manually control the flares, though. So whenever you see a missile coming at you, you hit the A button and it throws out a flare. As you can see, I'm going into some air-to-air combat with this other helicopter that's in the air, and we're basically countering each other by throwing out flares to counter the missiles that are shooting at each other. So it's really strong. You do have to wait for your flares to reload every single time when you use them, so you just can't spam them or anything like that. And unfortunately for me, this guy is able to take me out. That's pretty much it for the vehicles, guys. I did not have any footage of the Humvee, so I do apologize for that. The Humvee is the cheapest out of all the vehicles to purchase. I hope you guys liked the video. A like is always appreciated. And until next time, guys. Later.